What's up, my Wombo Combos? It's Dev from The Place, aka Boney Soprano, and yesterday, when I was playing a little Mono Black Zombies on Historic, I asked you to give me an elf down there in the comment section if you wanted to see Distant Melody Elves. And yeah, it's most of the comment section. It's just people saying elf So that's what we're going to do today before this Historic event's up. This is actually like one of the decks I was most excited to build, and it's one of the few historic decks that I've actually built, and this one I've actually put a lot more thought into than the Mono Black Zombies. I had a lot of people saying, like, why didn't you play Liliana in the deck? Well, I didn't have 4 mythic wild cards I wanted to spend on the Liliana, you know. I said during that video that I lost a bunch of cards that I had, and I had people in the comment section saying, like, I didn't think I'd heard anything about people losing cards or anything, you know. In the switchover, but I definitely did. So there's a point where I had 4 Lilianas from Core Set 2019, but those days are apparently gone. So I wasn't able to build zombies the way I really wanted to. I just kind of wanted to kick back, have some fun, and that's kind of the idea behind today's video. But I actually worked a little bit on the Elves deck before I came on camera. You know, a lot of people are trying a lot of different stuff with Elves in Historic right now. It turns out it's actually like kind of a wide open deck. There's a lot you can do with it. But some of this stuff is, you know, the usual. Llanowar Elves you're going to see in every single one of these decks. Why won't it show the cards as I go down? That's very strange. Well, seriously, what's the problem with that? Let's see here. Let me reset all of these search options. Is that apparently that was the problem. Weird. So there's Llanowar Elves, just so you know. And the more you know. But anyway, Llanowar Elves, pretty obvious. Elvish Visionary is going to be in every single one of these because people are excited to play it. Paradise Druid, so we can make blue for Distant Melody a little bit easier. Once Upon a Time is in most of these, so we can find, you know, lands in the beginning of the game, and sometimes important creatures too. You know, we can start the game with Llanowar Elves. We can go ahead and get our Beast Whisperer, our Imperious Perfect, another card you're going to see 4 of in like all of these Elves decks. We've got a lot of like Anthem effects when it's all said and done. I think we have a total of 9. Yeah, that looks right. Imperious Perfect's in the deck. Elvish Clan Caller as well, which I did spend wild cards on to play, even though I already had a play set. I didn't spend any wild cards on Steel Leaf Champion, which again, I had a play set of before rotation. I don't know what happened to him. But you could play Steel League Champion in this deck if you wanted to. I didn't spend the wild cards instead. I've got, you know, some stuff in here like Icon of Ancestry, which you don't have to play. But it's actually a pretty good card, you know. I mean, it's like a 9th Anthem effect in here. It sort of protects against sweepers, helps you find important elves and stuff like that. So I'll take 1 copy of Icon. Why not? 3 Beast Whisperer, and the 4th Beast Whisperer is this copy of the Great Hinge, which is kind of another Anthem effect, sort of, if you want to look at it that way. If you want to really squint at it, it's kind of an Anthem effect. But there's also an Enraged Forerunners in here, which I haven't seen everyone playing, but some people are on it. It's kind of our Crater Hoof Behemoth, if you remember that card, if you've been playing that long. But basically, if we have enough mana, which shouldn't be a problem in the Elves deck, we can play it, and suddenly like all of our creatures are huge. And we should have plenty of creatures left over once we play it to still attack with. Especially if we were able to get a Leyline of Abundance down at some point in the game, but preferably for free. This is a card a lot of people aren't on either, and I don't understand that. It's just all the mana in the world, and once you have even more mana, you're able to just like start putting counters on your creatures, EOT, or during your opponent's attack step or whatever. It's a crazy card. I don't know why more people aren't playing this. Like, there are turns where, like, you know, you'll start the game, get a Leyline, and note that you don't cast Leyline. You just begin the game with it on the battlefield. That allows you to also Once Upon a Time, so you just get, like, free spells, 2 free spells in your opening hand. It's a pretty crazy way to start a game, and then you start with Llanowar Elves on the same turn. So it's like, oh, you've cast 3 spells, and your opponent doesn't even have a land out, you know. So we're kind of playing this deck like Elfball, if you're familiar with that, you know. Just play a bunch of Elves. Along with Beast Whisperer to play, you know, to draw more cards, play even more elves. And we've also got all these, you know, Anthem effects to make our creatures, like, way bigger. You know, if you've got 12 elves out and they all get +2/+2 or +3/+3 or whatever, well, then you'll probably win if you don't get swept. But we do have to worry about sweepers. Kind of an awful lot with this deck. We're trying to kind of explode on the board as quickly as we can, but that said, we're still very vulnerable to sweepers. Icon kind of helps. We've only got the 1 copy. I've been considering Growth Chamber Guardian in this deck to help protect against sweepers, but you really don't get a whole lot of help in this deck. So you have to go as fast as possible or attempt to recover from sweepers, which isn't actually that hard. Because, you know, just because you drew a card, or you drew an elf with Beast Whisper, or, you know, you played an elf and you drew an elf with Great Hinge or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to play it. You know, you can sit back and you know, not overextend and hopefully that'll help fight sweepers and all that. I mean, the intricacies of the Elfball deck are actually much greater than a lot of people give it credit for. People think this is just kind of a brain-dead deck, and it can't operate that way, but against, you know, certain decks, you have to actually use the wrinkles in your brain some of the time. So I guess the only other thing I have to say about this is Fauna Shaman. A lot of people aren't playing this either, but I just couldn't resist one copy of Fauna Shaman. It kind of acts as a second copy of Enrace Forerunners. Or if you don't have a Beast Whisperer yet or whatever, go get one. I mean, there's lots of reasons to play Fauna Shaman, but I'm only playing the one. And then, of course, Distant Melody, the only blue card in the deck, because you just like draw 6 cards. But I only play 3 copies, and I'm really considering dropping it down to 2. There are going to be times where either you just got swept or you're still developing your board position, and Distant Melody is just kind of dead in your hand. There are times you don't want that. I'd much rather draw into a Distant Melody on like turn 4 or 5 than start the game with it in my hand a lot of the time, if that makes sense. So, but Distant Melody is still a ridiculous card. Between that, Beast Whisperer, Great Hinge, we're drawing a lot of cards in this deck. So let's go ahead and see if we can actually put it all together, or if it's just a pipe dream. Because there are a lot of really powerful, like, just degenerate standard decks of the past. You know, pretty much everything that's gotten banned has real life in Historic, except for Nexus of Fate. I guess that's banned. But in any case, a lot of decks you come across are just like decks have been banned in Standard for the last couple of years. So we'll see if Elfball can stand up to it. All right, we got one here against Nakamater. That's a name. That is a name. And this actually looks like a really sweet opener right here. You know, Llanowar Elves and the Clan Caller, or Paradise Druid, whatever. In the next turn we can unload with Fauna Shaman and Clan Caller. There are a lot of ways we could play this hand out. That's what I mean by, like, Elfball isn't really like a dumb person's deck. And actually, I've been meaning to make a video. I just have to like gather all my thoughts, outline it, and all that. Because it's going to be one of those where I actually script it for once. I think I've made like 4 videos in 5 years that are actually scripted, but this would be one of them. I just kind of want like make a whole video about how like aggro is actually in a lot of ways a very skill intensive deck that's just rich with decisions that you have to make that are do or die in the first few turns of the game. I think aggro is actually a really interesting, you know, now we get the Once Upon a Time deck type some of the time. So I don't know. I want to be the one person on the internet to defend it. I think I'm actually just going to go Paradise Druid on this turn. I think it's probably the best way to do it. Once Upon a Time will actually probably come in handy at some point soon. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. P. Diddy. Our opponent did start on Cat here, so yay, it's Cat Food deck. Cat Food is my favorite deck in Standard, like no matter what kind of cat, whether you know, Mardu cats, Jund cats, Sultai cats, whatever, you know. Just Cat Food combo and all of its different permeations are like some of my like favorite decks in all of Standard, but I hate playing against it. I think most people can agree that they hate playing against this deck. Hey, we got a Visionary. That's pretty sweet. So we're open to 5 total mana this turn. I'd say we probably just Clan Caller, Elvish Visionary or something, but not in that order. Probably Visionary then Clan Caller. So I'm going to do that. I like to sometimes hold Clan Caller until it's truly relevant. But, see, now we got an Imperious Perfect, which I probably play the Clan Caller this turn, I think. Although, it would be nice to go ahead and start making dudes with the Perfect. Could also drop Fauna Shaman, but I'm just not. I don't think we're ready to do that yet. Let's Perfect. Perfect. It's the guy from Street Fighter when you finish beating up the car with the bricks. My cousin and I made fun of that for literally 10 years. And you're perfect. And the guy that comes in the arcade version, I don't think this actually happens in the like the Super Nintendo version of Street Fighter 2, but like in the arcade cabinet, a guy will actually come in and be like, "Oh, my car," and it's just like the worst sound file ever. It just sounds really, really lame. "Oh, my car," like really in real life, you'd be like, "My car." You know, but I guess they couldn't pull that off in the olden days of like '92, whenever that came out. Oh, it's a Mayhem double. We're both just skipping our turns to do fun stuff at this point. All right, we got a Beast Whisperer. It's a very good Magic card. But, oh no, actually, let's Cola. I'd really like to wait to drop his Beast Whisperer until I can get value out of it on the same turn. I'd love that, but. Let's see here. What is our board state even? I've been talking about nonsense. Street Fighter and whatnot. This is really like the perils of making YouTube videos. It really is. Let's see. Let's, P. Diddles. Oh, they're just going to scoop. They're just going to scoop to a board full of elves and a person that is talking rather than making decisions. That makes perfect sense. I apologize. Nakmagan Winch. I forgot exactly how you say your name. I sounded really smart just whipping it out there at the beginning, but no, I didn't. I didn't know how to really say that name. Let's try to get a real game in here. Somebody. Of course, I'm not really down for playing real games right here. I'm just kind of down for talking and chilling out, seeing how this Elves deck works. That was actually kind of indicative of what we're trying to do, right? You know, Clan Caller, Imperious Perfect, a couple of mana Elves, and suddenly you have a ridiculous board position. Plus, we had Beast Whisper in our hand, you know. So if next turn we were able to play like Beast Whisper into Fauna Shaman, draw a card, like it's just crazy. That's pretty crazy. Let's see. We get a Once Upon a Time, 2 Elvish Clan Callers, Paradise Druid, and then an Enraze. Kind of gumming up the works a little bit. That's why I'm playing 1 copy. I don't necessarily want it. All right, so let's go ahead and Uyat here. God, we can get another Clan Caller. You know, I'm really tempted to just take a land here. I think Perfect is the call. Let's go with Tapped Breeding Pool because we amazingly don't have a 1-drop. The way this and a lot of elf decks are built in Historic, the only 1-drop you're playing is, you know, Llanowar Elves. So it feels weird to not drop a 1-drop elf. Now you have access to like Pell Collector and Elvish Reclaimer, I think, from M20, but like it's just not a great card. So you don't see it a whole lot in these decks. Let's go P Diddles. Hope I draw a land next turn so we can go like Clan Caller, or maybe Inky or P Diddy into Clan Caller. We didn't get a land. We got a ley line. I'd love to be able to cast it. So let's just go. I'll go Paradise Druid first. Let's make sure that we can actually do something next turn. No attacks. Now our opponent is on a Fountain of Renewal in 2 islands. They've also cast an Opt this game, so this is neat. Damseher. Damser. That's... What do people have weird names? I don't know, unless that's like their real life name and I'm making fun of, you know, their culture or whatever. That would be terrible. I hope I'm not doing that. But I was don't scoop. I was about to cast stuff. Am I even gonna? I guess I have to put that game in because, you know, I don't know that I left a seam in between those 2 games. I think I have been experiencing a lot of this in the last like 24 hours. I think it's because like people want to play Historic, but like they've already got all the card styles and all that. So like, why play a game you don't have to play? There's no penalty or whatever. There's no ladder that people are on, at least in the best of 1 for Historic. So why not scoop the game up, right? I think I did that in yesterday's video. Well, we got our card styles. Who cares, right? But let's go in there against Showtime with a 0 instead of an O. Creative. And see how we do. Opponent goes first again. Again with that. Well, I guess we got Llanowar Elves on turn 1, Ley Line of Abundance. And that's kind of all we need, right? So let's do that. Yep, that card. Whoops, that card. Our opponent goes Mountain, but nothing. That's interesting. That's Lawnmower Elves. So now we have 3 mana and nothing that costs 3 or under in our hand. That's what I was kind of worried about starting this game. Oh, a Crater Maker. You just playing Goblins? Because that would be awesome. That would seriously be awesome. Please be doing that. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Yeah. Enters tapped. Llanowar Elves. No attacks. We have 6 mana on our next turn. 7, actually, with the Hinterland Harbor. So we can just drop Enraze if we want to. On our 3rd turn. That'll be hilarious. All right. No Brocks. No Brock Sampsons. Krenko. That's something. That's pretty good. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's 8. I always forget that Enraze costs 8. That's like the 3rd time in the last 2 months I've been playing with this card. I guess we could Distant Melody. That might be cute. I do need some cards. I'm going to do it. It's like, what are they going to play next turn, right? It's just Elvish Visionary, draw our card. We needed that. We actually did need a land here if we're going to get 4 runners down. Alright, so they didn't cast anything on Krenka, which is kind of weird. I'll take 4 here. Don't necessarily want to lose an elf right now. Boggart Brute. Boggart Brute. Boggart Brute. Boggart Brute. Alright, so Great Henge costs 8, but we can cast it. And then do nothing else this turn, so... Let's actually probably just end race, I think. Would probably be the best call. Yeah. Don't really care about the ETB trigger not really getting to go off. I guess I could attack, but... You have Vigilance, right? Yeah, Vigilance. Vigilance, so why not, right? Maybe they'll actually kill the Visionary here. But we'll get Brood off the table or something. Bop, bop. Alright, so our opponent's at 11, they're at 14. Forgot about one of the most forgettable abilities there for a second. Vigilance. But they're down to 9 here. Apparently they need that Stomping Ground this turn. For a Goblin Ringleader, yeah, you did need that. That's a good card. It's a very good Magic card. So you got a Chain Whirler, which could be trouble. And an Ornery Goblin. Interesting. Okay. So let's block Krinko. Well, 2, 4, 6, 7. We'll go to 7. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to survive this next turn. Alright, so let's Great Henge, first of all. Well, Melody. Naming Elves. Get a perfect. And swing it in. See what happens here. I mean, yeah, no blocks. We're gonna go down to 2, but it's you know, it's not looking great. All things considered, it's really not. But they can't just Chain Whirler our creatures away. It's mostly what I wanted. Now they can Crater Maker the perfect. Yep, they're going to do it too. So that kills all the stuff. Wait a minute. 4, 5, 6. Wait, are we going to win this game? Holy crap. Okay. Naming Boar. Just to do it. And like, Trample. We did it. I had no faith in that game whatsoever. But we actually did it against Showtime. Alright. I guess we've technically won 3 games in a row. I'm not really sure how much the first 2 count. I think the first person just didn't want to like play against a giant, you know, board full of elves, and they didn't have board wipes. They knew it, the more turns they were giving us, the more elves we were going to have. So I guess I get the first game. I'm not really sure about the second one, but that one, decisive. But close. But close. So let's go in against Jedi for, I don't know, maybe the last game here. It's possible. Maybe we'll try and get one more in after this. So this is what I don't like about Distant Melody. Is that I don't really want him in my opening hand here, but I kept the hand. I kept the hand because I'm a moron. Hey, they said hello to us. Let's do that. I like nice people. So let's enter tapped here with the breeding pool. We'll get Elvish Visionary next turn. I guess that's something. We drew a Leyline of Abundance, which is just the funniest thing. So let's see. Ooh, an Impassioned Order. You playing like Blue-White Soul Sisters? That'll be awesome. So we haven't actually cast a spell yet. That's Once Upon a Time. Probably, yeah, the Infurious Perfect. Let's get something to do on turn 3. This turn we'll play Visionary. Stack our hand a little bit. Lawnmower Elves could have come a little earlier, buddy, but whatever, it's fine. I don't blame you. I do blame me starting the game, keeping the opening hand of 2 melodies and an in-raise 4 runners. You don't want to do that most of the time. We will not block, because, 2 damage isn't too bad. And they will say go, which makes me slightly nervous. Let's... Imperious Perfect. Get in for 2. Say go. So, what you going to do, Jedi? I've actually really wanted to play against this deck. I played against Mono White Soul Sisters once and just slaughtered it with Mono Black Zombies. And I was like, you should be better than that. But I haven't played against Blue White. And from everything I've seen on the internet, Blue White is the sort of preferred version of the deck. I am not going to get baited. I don't know if they would have combat tricks or anything, but I don't think it's worth trading at all. So, let's... You guys are probably like, what is he looking at over there? My laptop's way over here. Because my stupid desktop won't play this game anymore. It just refuses to do it. Mtga.exe has stopped working. That's a really good message to get. Alright, so next. In the turn, and now we can make a little elf guy. If they swing in. Maybe they don't, maybe they won't see it coming. It's possible, right? Let's give it a shot. I don't know what else. It's Jeskai. Okay. It is Jeskai. Pass. Okay, so they didn't know, but we'll still make an elf. Why wouldn't we do that? Now I gotta worry about like Deafening Clarion and stuff. Woof. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana this turn, 6 after Breeding Pool if we take the 2. Tell you what we'll do, we'll just Leyline. Paradise Druid. Breeding Pool. But I will pay the life for it. Let's try and get in with this elf. I'll have a cough. And we will. Sweet. Now, if our board position stays strong like this, next turn Distant Melody will be crazy. Now, we could also in-raise next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. Whenever you gain life, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Gideon's company. And then you can also pay 4 to put a loyalty counter on a target Gideon Planeswalker. Is this from the Planeswalker decks? Is that why I had to read a card for the first time in a while? Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. I thought that you had like Double Strike or something. I seem to vaguely remember this card. It is a 5/5. That's a pretty big guy right there. So let's go ahead and make a thing. We get to drop a land here. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures left up. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and 4 runners. Let's do it. I'm not a patient man, I guess. Let's get in with everything. Everything except Imperious Perfect. They are good gaming us. And by the way, I should be getting in with Imperious Perfect here. It's entirely possible. But yeah, nah, they don't even block. That's good. Alright, so that's how Elves is supposed to play, and I didn't even have to cast a Distant Melody. And if we had cast a Distant Melody, we'd have drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, something like that. So whew, Elves is very serious, especially if you're not playing against an opponent that has access to sweepers. It doesn't really matter that we don't have like answers to their stuff some of the times, you know. It's just that we're able to fill our board more aggressively than pretty much anybody else right now. So I also hope that this is, turning you on to the truth of Leyline of Abundance, even though it hasn't been like super crazy yet in any of these games. It did just help us cast that in-raise 4 runners. So that was very important. Now this turn, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. Leyline of Abundance, Once Upon a Time. That is how you want to start. Maybe we'll get a Lawn Werewolves off the once, just oof. Oofta. It's amazing. So let's go ahead and drop this Leyline. We also have 2 elves that work with it. They're going to read Leyline. What? So what's Zeta going to do here? Zeta. It's got to be Zeta. We're going to drop tapped Breeding Pool. Let's go. Oh, we got a lot of work. Ooh, smooth. Super smooth. Let's take the Beast Whisperer. So we don't... 2 out of 3 cards we can take our Beast Whisperer. So Forest, Lawnmower Elves. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you start a game of Magic. Once upon a time, Lawnmower Elves, Leyline of Abundance, just, oh, it's delicious. Hey, look what we can do this turn. On turn 2, drop Beast Whisperer. Scoop to that, right? They're going to Growth Spiral in response. And partially, probably shit themselves a little bit. I don't curse much, but I would if somebody played a Beast Whisperer on turn 2. That is exactly what this deck is supposed to do. Let's see if we can win off the God Hand. Man, it tried to give us a Paradise Druid off the Once Upon a Time. Now we draw another one. Jeez. Alright, so P. Diddy. We draw an N-Raise. I want it. I want it so bad. Alright, Paradise Druid. And you better be able to do something this turn. Let's go ahead and get in. Put him at 18. See, this should turn you on to the truth of Leyline of Abundance. They got 2 Risen Reefs, though. That's wacky. Let's see if they get to untap on the next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana available to us. I'm going to save it for a turn. I don't think they're going to sweep the board. I mean, they got 2 Risen Reefs. Why would they want to sweep the board? So let's do that. What I'd really like to draw here is an Anthem effect. It's too much to ask. We'll get a Paradise Druid, though. Give me an Anthem. We'll Leyline again so that we can tap our creatures for 3 mana. Get in with Beast Whisperer, why not? Put him at 16, and then next turn we drop N-Raise. That's just, it's gotta be it. I mean, I don't even care what they do this turn. Probably a famous last words, am I right? we'll have to see what Zeta does. Maybe they will become the alpha this turn. You got a full grip of damaging cards over there. Voracious Hydra comes down. Probably knocks out the Beast Whisperer. No, they're going to double the number of counters. Okay, so I'm just over making noises. End-Raise Forerunners. Blah. You can be a big pig too. Let's go, everybody. Let's go downtown on them. Yeah, scoop that up. That is exactly, by the way, in every way what this deck is supposed to play like. I mean, we got Leyline and Once Upon a Time and Lawnmower Elves first turn. Second turn, Beast Whisperer, into End-Raise Forerunners. I mean, on turn 5, but we could have played it on turn 4, so just nuts. Absolutely nuts. That is exactly the game I wanted. Thank you, Magic Gods, for finally giving me exactly the game I wanted. So I hope that was able to convince you that this deck is good. especially that last game. Just boy, howdy, geez, Louise, cheese and crust. That was the game we wanted. We never even had to use Fauna Shaman to get N-Raise, but it is something you can do. But and Great Hinge put in work, in a couple of games there. Just really, really fine deck you are, Historic Elves. So if you wanted to play this in paper, you absolutely can. I'm going to leave the deck list in the description down there. Very first link. Hit it, go over to TCG Player, because if you're going to play a deck, like a historic deck in paper, this is the one. I'm not even sure this costs all the dollars. It does have Once Upon a Time, but Once Upon a Time probably just took a price hit, didn't it? I mean, if there's any justice in the entire world, Once Upon a Time just took a price hit. Kind of want to look it up while we're all here together, because I like surfing the internet with y'all. I like that. We're just hanging out. Once Upon a Time. Magic the Gathering. TCG Player. Let's see what's going on. Okay, it's down to $12.29, which is definitely less than it was. It was like 17 or something like that. I think it was actually up to 20 at its peak, but still a lot of money. You don't have to play it, but you probably should. But still, I mean, it's probably a relatively cheap deck, all things considered. And, it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. If you're playing on the kitchen table, bring this one, man. A crazy deck. But obviously, if you're playing Historic on Arena, give this one a shot, too. Because, we just saw it destroy face, what, like 4 games in a row or something? Was that 5? I think it had 5 games. I lost count, both because of ADD and because we just crushed so many people. So I guess give this one a shot if you're into it. And then make sure while you're at it you like the videos, subscribe if you want more videos. I mean, that's... YouTube, I think, has like stopped putting me in recommended feeds as often, I think. I don't know if I hit some sort of channel, like some time milestone or something. I've heard in the past that like once you get to a certain amount of time that you've been a popular YouTube channel, YouTube's algorithm will stop favoring you so much. So I don't know if that's what's going on or what, but still, I know that I'm getting put in fewer recommended feeds nowadays. So make sure you subscribe so you actually know when I put videos out. Because, yeah, need some views, y'all. Anyway, I think that I'm done for this one. I hope y'all had fun. I did, if you can't tell. This is a lot of fun. And I think I'm going to actually play 2 or 3 more off camera here. But anyway, I think I'm done for this one, so I'll catch you cats later. I'm Dev from The Place. Thanks for watching, my wizards. Spread love and be kind.